Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do another unboxing. This is the season of unboxings. This is the time of the year where I'm in the middle of things. I can't get out and do any fishing, no ice fishing. Things are getting kind of sloppy up here. The temperatures, I'm sure you guys kind of know, the weather's kind of messed up all over the place. As a matter of fact, it's going to be about 50 degrees today here and about 60 degrees tomorrow. But then tomorrow night, we're supposed to get, you know, anywhere between 4 to 12 inches of snow. So, hey, it is what it is. But yeah, so I mean, anyways, I get bored in between, so I like buying stuff and you know, getting these boxes and stuff like that. And this actually isn't one that I have. This is the monthly subscription, but you've seen already a couple that I bought from, like, say, Shields and Walmart and stuff like that. And I'm going to probably continue to do a couple more of those as well, so stay tuned for those. But today, it is the mystery tackle box, the Bass Elite box for the month of March. And this box, guys, I love doing this stuff. So I just kind of want to jump right into it and get started with it. The first bait out of the box now. Oh, so I did take a little bit of a sneak peek when I got the box before doing this video. So I cheated a little bit, but sometimes there's a goof up in the boxes. And what I mean by that is, so here's one of the lures. Talk about it in just a minute. And here's another one of the lures. Notice the difference? There is no difference. So what happened is that someone accidentally put two of them in there, and it's a bonus. So I've talked to them before about it. It's happened to me before. I talked to them before, and it's just, they just consider it as part of the box. So that's pretty cool. Here's the thing. So since I took this one out first, we're going to talk about this first. I actually purchased a couple of these to try out this year. So it's by First Gen. It's the Flash X. It's a swim jig. It's a skirted swim jig, and it's kind of like a miniature spinnerbait. But it's got, the hook is heavy enough where you can throw it within weed cover. So my intentions are to throw it in weed cover and in and out of, like, say, pencil reeds and stuff like that, heavy cover. And put like a swim bait on there, or you can do a craw if you want. But my intent is to put a swim bait on the trailer on there and fish it in and out. That little blade on top, it's just a little bit of flash to help draw them in. And then of course it helps, you know, make it a little bit weedless as well. So I don't have any first-hand experience with these. This one does come with equipped with a 5/0 hook. The wire, it's a titanium wire. That's pretty cool. So that means it's not going to break real easy, and it's going to hold up very well. It's a 1/2 ounce jig. So what's the color on this one? Actually, I didn't look at that. Morning Shad is the color. So here's a close-up of it. I'm pretty excited to use these. 1/2 ounce is a little bit heavy for me, but it will still work. I want to throw like anywhere between 1/4 and 3/8 because I like to slow roll it. I really do. I get a ton of bites slow rolling, and sometimes big ones. Some days they don't want it to be slow rolled though. Some days they want it burned. So that's pretty cool. You know, and got a bonus. So in case I get bit off by a pike or a mudfish, there we are. All right, next one out of the box. So this is one. So this is the core tackle hover rig. So this is pretty cool. I'm going to show you guys on the back side of the rigging. It's going to be easier for me to show you than to describe it for you, but I will still try. So this gets so it's like a jig, but it gets placed inside your worm, into the head of the worm, in a manner where the head, the lead part, the weight is hidden inside your plastic, but then your hook is, you know, of course, exposed, and then your eyelet is exposed too. So that's kind of how you rig it. And I have some of these already. So you'd rig the hook in first, and you go in as far as you need to, and then you go in just a little bit more, and then push it in, and then push the point. You push the point of the jig there into the nose of the plastic, as it's already pushed in and pushed it up. so that way it's hidden. But here's the reading instructions on the back again, just to show you guys. My instructions probably suck, but there you go there. If you need to pause it, but yeah, these things, this is pretty cool. So it's they call it the hover rig. It's, you know, this came out about the time when the jig and minnow and everything was going on, and had just started coming out. I mean, and what this is supposed to do is get rid of the big ball head jig on the front, and it also does create a little different of a fall too. I haven't fished these enough yet to show you guys or let you guys know that I've had a lot of success with them, but I've caught a couple of fish on them. They definitely do work. I believe I used one with a craw trailer on Mille Lacs Lake. I did a practice video out there, and it worked out there for a couple of smallmouth. So they do work. I just haven't fished it enough, and I still have them. I have them in the box because there is a time and a place for them, and I really do need to use these a bit more because these are really good. Throw them on light tackle, spinning rods, and you know you can throw these just about anywhere. Just be aware that, you know, it's an exposed hook, so if you throw it in around weed cover, they do have weedless ones. I do have the weedless ones, but still be aware. I mean, it's still gonna be. I mean, still be cautious. It's still gonna, you know, hang up a little bit, but yeah, these things are a pretty cool little addition to the box. And then next thing we're gonna go into here, we got heavy metal tungsten worm weights, 1/8 ounce. So the brand Heavy Metal Tungsten, it is I believe it's a Ketchco brand, isn't it? Or no, yeah, distributed by Ketchco. So it's a collaboration between or whatever. But it's they're related to Ketchco. And so the reason why I use a lot of these, and the reason why I use a lot of them, the tungsten for one. I like the sensitivity that they send back to your rod. You can feel the bottom a lot easier or a lot nicer, you know, whether if it's gravel, you know, sand or silt or rock. But the thing is, the main reason why is they're not as expensive. I have found some of them get sold out either fast or some stay sold out, so you got to kind of watch, you know, when they're available. But I use a lot of these. I use these for worm weights. I use them for my flip and pitching weights. I use them for my drop shot weights, the cylinder weights, and I have no issues with them. They work really good. So this is actually, I use a lot in the black color. This is green pumpkin. I know it's hard to tell with the lighting, but I do use a lot of black. Green pumpkin will work just fine too. So if you have green pumpkin or that's all they got, grab green pumpkin. It'll still work just fine. But good solid weights there. Okay, next thing, we have a spinnerbait. It's the Guggen Squad Zinger in a Sexy Shad 3/8 ounce. And I mean, it's spinnerbait. It's gonna work pretty well anywhere you go. Typically, you're gonna want a little bit more, like it works better like on windy days, or you know, with days where the top of the water is a bit ripply, and it doesn't have to be like blowing like 100 miles an hour, but on a windy day or, you know, something like that. But you know what though, that is the textbook way to use these. I usually don't follow a textbook. I will throw spinner baits, you know, in any conditions, even if it's bluebird sunny, I will still throw them. I've caught quite a few fish on them on all different kinds of conditions. So just because the textbook says throw them in the wind doesn't mean that's the only time to throw them. Definitely, if it's windy out, definitely give them a shot. Don't count that. Don't count it out, because I've caught some big fish on spinnerbaits in the wind when it's pretty windy out. So the only thing is castability with these things kind of suck in the wind. So if you're going to cast into the wind, have your reel set up, because you will backlash for sure. Yeah, at some point. I know I do all the time, but if you can, you know, typically the way you know how the boats are set up, you know, we want to cast into the wind because that's where the bow is going to be facing. That's where we're going to be casting towards. But if you can, try to cast, you know, with the wind. So that helps you a little bit better. But Yeah, I do pretty much throw these mostly around cover, like weeds, weed edges and stuff like that. Docks, around docks too. I went on a really good bite on a lake up in northern Minnesota where I'm throwing spinner baits and buzz baits around docks, and you know, when they were hitting the top water, buzz baits, but then when they wouldn't hit it, throw the spinner baits, and they're crushing it left and right. So you don't always have to throw finesse gear all the way, you know, around docks. You can throw spinner baits. These things work just as well. All right, next bait, we got the Ducket Sway Minnow. Looks like a, it's okay. Well, it's a 3.75 silver shad color. Looks kind of like another, like a jig and minnow type bait that you can throw and put a, like I said, put a jig on it, drop shot, Ned head, kind of same thing, right? But they got a couple other rigging methods here that I'm covering up. You know, vibrating jig, drop shot. We said you can do weightless, so you can do put it on weightless around docks and around any cover if you think about it. Just you might need to put it on a spinning rod because it's a little bit smaller of a bait. I can't imagine. I've never used it before, but I can't imagine it's got a lot of weight to it. So you probably don't want to throw it on spinning gear. You know, unless you got a good setup on a bait caster that you like to throw, and this works out great, perfect. Go for that. I mean, I personally prefer a bait caster over spinning gear, but you know, when you have to, you have to. So that's the way I work around it or work with it. But these look like they're gonna, you know, they'll do pretty good. I mean, I have, like I said, I haven't fished them before, but I mean, a lot of fish bite this color and multiple different rigging methods. So this is looks like it'll get bit pretty good. And again, just to remind you guys, I know it's winter right now for me, and I can't get out and do slam on these baits, but I'm saving these boxes, and I'm putting I'm writing on the month and on them that they came from, and I'm gonna do a slam on them in the summer. You know, depending on, I'm not sure if they'll be done like right in the summer or right away in the summer, like all at once. It all depends on how busy I get, but I am gonna start with them, and then probably just start in May, and you know, I'd like to try starting in April, but it all depends on this weather. But if I do start in May, I'm going to probably start with the December box because that's the first one I decided to start with. There's boxes to save to do, so we'll start in December and then go on from there. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, so I am saving these boxes to do the slam for later on, and I will give you guys a heads up when those are coming around. But you can probably keep an eye out for them starting early May. Next bait we got is the X Zone Hot Shot Minnow, the 3.25. This is a Brandon Polinick's one of the baits that he uses, and he catches a ton of fish with. I mean, it works out really good. I haven't had a chance to really put it to use, but I will when we do the slam this summer. So we'll see how that goes. But this is a really good color. I like this color. It's a green pumpkin blue flake color. It is called Hot Shot Minnow. No, Hot Shot Minnow is the name of the minnow. It's green pumpkin blue flake. Green pumpkin blue flake. So that's the color that I really like. And rigging methods, you know, you can throw on a net head, drop shot, small Texas rig, but those are probably the main rigging methods that I'm going to use. And looks like it'll do pretty good, but well, I don't know. I'll find out. You'll see firsthand this summer. Next baits, we got the Weston Swimming Worm. It's a 5-inch worm, 5 1/8 inch it says, and it says Shiner. Shiner the color, must be. It says Shiner. Shiner is the color. It's to me, it's a finesse swimming worm. It's a small. You could hook it weedless, put it on a jig head, drop shot, however you want. Personally, I'm going to probably hook it weedless, put a 1/4 ounce weight on this, and I'm going to drag it through or swim it through weeds and pencil reeds and heavy cover. That's my favorite way to fish worms. You can also put them on like a shaky head and throw them into you know, in and around docks and bridge pilings and stuff like that too. It would work out really good that way as well. And you know, it's the reason why I say it's more of a finesse is because of how thin it is. It's a much thinner worm. It's not very big, not long either. It's only 5 inch for you know, like a swimming worm or a curly tail type worm. And so that's why I'm calling it a finesse worm. But this thing looks like it's gonna get bit really, really well. Like I said, I'll probably throw it on a kind of like a Texas on a Texas rig, but I will throw on a worm hook for sure. I probably will stay away from an EWG hook just because it's just a little bit big for the worm. So I prefer like a worm hook with these. All right, last bait out of the box. It is by Nomad Design. It is Swimtrex 66. It is a lipless crankbait in the red crawdad color, and it says red craw color. There's the package there, like that. Leave them upside down. Turn right side up. There we go. Now it's a lipless crankbait. I haven't used this brand before, but lipless crankbaits get bit just about anywhere, any time of year. This red craw color, I definitely like to throw it, and I'm sure you guys have heard it too. Many different places, many different people and anglers. It's great to throw in the spring because that's typically the color that the craws are in the spring, and that's what the fish are feeding on. So that's why the red craw does very well in spring. And you know, I still use it throughout the summer. This color, still get a lot of really good bites on it too. It's a little bit smaller of a profile, but it's a 2.5 inch. It's a ½ ounce. You know, I'm going to throw this in and out of weed cover, not so thick weed cover, probably very sparse. So that way when it gets not hung up, but when it comes up along to it and it starts getting snagged, I'll pop it. It'll pop free, and sometimes you can get some reaction bites from the extra pop when it pops free. Then I'm going to throw it down weed edges. You throw it down in deep weed edges and throw it parallel to them, you know, probably like what, 10-15 feet, and just do a slow reel or slow reel and some twitches in between. You can try straight retrieve, but sometimes it's kind of boring and they'll follow it and then move away. You can try it first, see what they do, but a lot of times I'll reel stop, or I will pop it. Like I'll reel it constantly, and then I'll just do a couple of pops and then keep reeling and a couple of pops. But another way to do it is just rip it, let it hit the bottom, rip it and let it hit the bottom, and every time you rip it, reel up a little bit of the slack and hits the bottom, and then just keep doing that. And sometimes you get some pretty good bites off of that too. So change up your retrieves. One retrieve is probably not going to catch the same fish or catch fish all day long. You're probably going to need to switch it up. But this bait is a really good springtime bait, and excited to use it. Excited to try it out. The only thing is, by the time we get to this box, it won't be spring anymore. So that's kind of the takeaway with some of these boxes, is that the boxes that I'm getting now are probably more geared towards my springtime. So might throw these boxes in ahead of time. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see, I don't know. I do kind of like keeping things in order. It's just kind of how I am. Another decal from the box, MTB. It's a football shaped like a bass shaped like a football. One and the same. That's gonna be it. That's the box. That's all we got. And I shouldn't say that's all we got, but that's you know, 8-9 baits in there, and well, I think it was, and we got an extra jig out of the deal too, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, guys, that's it for the box. Pretty solid box. You know, it's got a couple of baits in there. I kind of wish, you know, for the jig, it was more of a for the jig one. I wish we got like more of a swim bait trailer with that one. But all in all, not too bad. We'll be able to complete the slam on this one, I'm sure of it. So stay tuned for that. And guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you in the next video.